Hello, everyone, and welcome to the City Commissioner's Report for the City of Pikeville. It's a highlight for me, and I hope you're getting a lot of information. If you're not listening very closely because the City Commissioners tell it like it is and tell it like it happened in the meeting. Our Commissioner of the Week of this period, I should say, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy, how are you?
Very good, Homer. Thank you for having me.
Let me compliment you on your choice of colors. On the sweater, you're very Christmassy looking.
Well, it's that time of year, and as the set reflects, all the poinsettias and the greenery, I think it's time to get in that spirit.
Yes, it is. Congratulations to Meta Cheney and the Main Street program for her decoration of this set. We appreciate it. It's very professional looking and gives me pleasure just being in the middle of it all.
Me too, Homer.
Tell us something, Jimmy, if you will, about the schedule of commission meetings and city office closings during this holiday period.
Well, during the, I think what we decided to do this past Monday is cancel the next upcoming city commission meeting, which falls after the day after Christmas, and then the offices here at City Hall will be closed the Friday and Monday prior to Christmas and New Year's.
Of course, this program being taped on December 14th, so there may be some overlap and some information that we develop that has already passed, but we try to stay as current as possible. What's the progress of construction in the city, Jimmy? Is it affecting any city services, or is it moving smoothly?
No, to be honest, Homer, with all the projects that are out there coming out of the ground right now, and you know everybody can see it. It's amazing how well the traffic flow continues to be with the increase of the population at Pikeville College, or the University of Pikeville, rather.
You owe $5 to James Hurley.
And the governor, absolutely. But you know, with the UPike doubling its enrollment this year, you know that puts a lot of students downtown, and we just really haven't seen a lot of issues with traffic or any services at all.
Somewhat amazing, since one of the major projects in the city is on the campus of Pikeville, University of Pikeville.
There you go.
Only owe $250 for that one. So not only more students, but more vehicles, more everything for the city of Pikeville as the university grows.
Absolutely, and you know, and that goes with you know, talking with some people earlier about the parking garage and not being able to get in there. But I think people will realize and notice if you're in downtown shopping or you know doing business downtown that those parking spots move in and out a lot during the day with the students. As classes change, people come in, people leave. And then, you know, after 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the parking garage is rather empty after classes are pretty much over. Then, you know, we do have the influx of some, the Hampton residents coming in, you know,
yes,
for the overnight. But that's usually after 3 or 4 o'clock. So, you know, it's a good rotation, so.
As I've said many times, and I'll repeat once again, the most beautiful parking garage in the state of Kentucky, without doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt. We love it. Christmas parade, Jimmy, how'd that go? What was your impression?
My impression was just fantastic, and Jesse Boland and Meta Cheney, they did it, and everybody else, and I don't have the list in front of me who all participated in that to make that, to pull it off, but I'll tell you what. It was impressive. It reminded me of when I was a kid, and that's been back in the day. But reminded me of those type of parades. You know, we had the participation of the local high school bands, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Daisy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and it was phenomenal. It really was.
There's no question about it. Everything, all the feedback that I've had, it may possibly have been and probably is the best Christmas parade in the city's history.
I couldn't hold it to one that I can think of right off the bat. You know, with the music playing on Main Street in the park during the day, and then having the parade, and then you know the hot chocolate, and they had free hot chocolate at the plaza at the Expo Center. Steve St. John was down there from the Expo serving that up, and it was just a great evening.
Yes, it was. Speaking of the plaza at the Expo Center, that's become a focal point of gatherings in the evening, even as it creates traffic downtown, which is good for the city of Pikeville, and it's good for the residents.
It's good for everyone. I mean, and it's an easy place to get to. You know, I think that's the central focal point, easy to get to, easy walking distance from the parking garage and or all the parking that we have in the city. You know, and speaking of that, I think Menta wanted me to add that on the 17th of December, which is coming up here in a couple of days, that we'll be having caroling with the commissioners at the plaza.
You guys are going to perform?
I'm not performing, but we'll sing along. I'll sing along. I don't know. We may have a couple of commissioners that are a little better at that than me, but
and
it should be
that
fun.
location at the Expo Center on the plaza is wired for wireless, so you can bring laptop, sit outside, enjoy something to eat. It's also catered, isn't it, if you wish that?
Correct. On each table, there's a laminated menus of different restaurants in town that will deliver, and you have a table number that's laminated also. So if you're sitting there on the afternoon, that's a nice afternoon, you want to have lunch or whatever, you can call from your cell phone the restaurants that are located that are willing to come there and deliver, and tell them your table number, and they'll bring it right to you.
A couple of weeks ago, I talked with your fellow City Commissioner Barry Cheney. He was talking about an ambulance. I talked to you just before we started the taping. You tell me it involves 2 ambulances.
That was my understanding, and I think it was a misunderstanding when we first talked about it in the meeting, and we upgraded that last meeting to include 2 ambulances. They have been ordered. I think we only had 1 bidder on that, but they should be in fairly soon.
That will upgrade 50% of your fleet, as I understand it.
Yes, and we may be retiring 1. I'm not really sure, but with the response time that we have, and those, if everybody noticed, those ambulances are out a lot. We have a 4.5 minute response time, which is phenomenal in the city.
It's a point of pride to the city and to the commissioners, the governing body, that response time is down to 4 minutes or less.
Right,
and that's crucial.
It's very crucial, and it's big time for the fire department and the EMTs. They pride themselves, and the police department, as far as that goes. It's the same type of deal with them. They pride themselves on how fast they can get to the scene.
Not only do they get there, but they are certified also.
Yes.
Everyone in the fire department has certification for first responder.
Absolutely.
So that's very important too. City of Pikeville, and that goes under the category of quality of life.
Quality of life, and we, although it may look a little messy right now, and the town, has always looked pristine and always does with the construction, but when we get these buildings finished, the town won't be near as dusty and dirty, I'm sure, but it is a great quality of life that's going to be passed on to us with these new projects and other projects future coming down the road.
Speaking of projects, Jimmy Carter, there's the Thompson Road Development Project. That has hit just a little bit of a speed bump, nothing to be concerned about. U.S. Postal Service made the announcement yesterday, I believe, that they're going to put on hold for 6 months any resolution of whether or not to relocate processing centers or close rural post offices. Does that impact the plans of Pikeville?
Not that we're aware of right now, Homer. We believe that we will be going forward. I think they're getting, as the federal government is with everything right now, they're a little slow to move sometimes, although it's not really a federal government entity. They're not. You're
speaking of the U.S. Postal Service. I inadvertently said a federal government, but they are answer unto themselves, really.
Correct. We feel like, of course, as everyone knows, they don't have a lot of money, and I'm sure they would need some. They would like to have some of this money to help push them along, as they restructure as what they're doing. So we don't feel like it's going to be a big impact to us. We don't know that for 100% sure, but we feel confident. We haven't heard anything any different, that we'll be moving along, and hopefully, with fingers crossed, that we'll be able to maybe move some dirt in the spring.
Have you, up to this point, made any commitment to the Postal Service about the use of their building or purchase of it or lease of it? What is the arrangement there? If it comes to be.
If it comes to be, there's a letter of intent to purchase that building and add it into the complex. Now, whether the contractor or the developer will use that building or tear it down, I really don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that to make it work and fit the way that it needs to, he'll probably have to tear that building down, and he'll use that property to develop what they need to do.
Marion's Branch Project, we always touch on that, each one of these programs, to see if it's moving forward. What was the last word on that?
I'm not on that committee, but they are meeting regularly and trying to get the infrastructure and the plat maps down to the size of lots.
Can you give us some background on the Marion Branch? Sometimes we just throw out a name of a project without any background on it, but this is a rather large undertaking.
Like we've mentioned before, Mayor Hamley had the cut-through project, which was instrumental in what we have today in downtown Pikeville with some property, filling in the riverbed. And we feel like this is going to be kind of our cut-through project as far as bringing affordable housing to Pikeville in the city
Can you
limits.
put some numbers to that thought?
It's anywhere from 3 to 4 to 500, depending on what size lots that we end up with. It's just a phenomenal piece of property, and also there could be some industrial commercial up there too in a different section that could be up there as well. So
some recreational activity.
There could be a few. There is some plans for that. Down
Golf
the road.
course maybe.
There's been some talk of that. It's hard to say. Of course, it all comes down to the mighty dollar and what we can afford and what we can't afford, and we're not going to put ourselves into a situation to extend ourselves if we can't. But if we can do whatever we can, we will.
There has been some effort about improving the access to that property.
There has been. There's two different looks on that coming off of southbound 23 up behind the post office. I guess that would be the Shelbyana post office coming out behind that hollow back through there, and then that's some additional dollars that would have to come up with, and then also using the existing haul road that's coming out that comes out at the mouth of Island Creek Bridge.
So there's possibility of entering. Is there any chance that both entrances may be utilized?
Probably not. It's going to be probably one or the other.
One or the other.
And it all comes down to funding again.
As most things do.
Absolutely.
Jenny Wiley Theater, that's on the minds and on the tongues of many of our residents here in the Pikeville area and in Pike County in general. What is, you're on that committee, aren't you?
Yes, I'm on that building committee, and actually we met a couple of days ago, and the RFQs are back in for architectural designs. We haven't picked one yet. Actually, I think we've got it narrowed down to 2 firms that will be interviewing on Friday, whatever that date is, the 16th. And then hopefully we'll be able to make an announcement on Friday and begin moving forward, hopefully in the next 2 to 4 months after architectural designs and firms are hired and construction can begin hopefully in early spring.
And we're talking about a section of Pikeville that's bordered by Division Street and 2nd Street, including the old Doll Hairs building?
Correct.
Will that be included in the complex?
It will be. The city acquired the Doll Hairs building a couple of weeks ago, both sides of that, and the vacant parking lot will actually house the theater, what they call the box or the black box, where the seating will be. So what we'll do at that point is attach it to that old Doll Hair side building.
Use a common wall.
And then they'll be able to use the existing Doll Hairs building for offices, restrooms, the lobby area.
Storage for props and equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah, sounds like a wonderful plan. At one point, Barry Cheney mentioned, I always refer back to Barry, he's the source of information other than you, that I'm searching now for a number. The theater that will be built, the seating area you alluded to a moment ago, could be what, up to 500 seats?
Probably between 350 and 450, somewhere around there. We don't have an exact number. Now, the Jenny Wiley Theater, they would like to, and we're trying to work with them as best we can. Again, it comes down to funding, as we all know, but like I mentioned Monday at the meeting, I said we want to get the best bang for our buck. So that's why we're looking at a lot of these firms to see what they've done in the past, where they can stretch those dollars to give us what we really need, and for the city and Jenny Wiley Theater to be proud of the theater that we've got. Now, to back up on that, as far as the seating goes, they would like to also have dinner theater as well. So we have to look at some different avenues of how the seating can be moved, rearranged, bring tables in to have the dinner theater as well. So we've got a lot of ambitious hopes that hopefully that the funding will help us get there, though.
We've mentioned funding 3 or 4 times in this conversation. Where's the funding coming from?
Well, for the Jenny White Theater, that's going to be coming from our restaurant tax. The extra 0.5% that we put on will help fund that project for the next 15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years. By then, I suspect the city of Pikeville will be into something new.
New and been able to expand.
You're
what
moving
we've
about a dozen projects or initiatives a year now. So is that putting any strain on the city commission to be considering all these balls in the air at the same time?
Well, to be honest with you, coming from a retail homer, I love it. It keeps you on your toes. Like we've asked Donovan, the mayor, and the commission that, just keep us in the right direction. Being able to fund these projects, and like I said, we're not going to put ourselves in any kind of jeopardy. But we want to give everything we can to the citizens that deserve it, and living in a great community like Pikeville.
People may not know, but when bodies like the City Commission, City of Pikeville, makes a decision to take on a large project, large in terms of dollars, there's a lot of research that goes behind that to support the funding question. You don't enter into it blindly. You see the end of the tunnel. We
have numerous work projects and working meetings that are open to the public as well to come in and voice your opinions. Everything that we do, we encourage the citizens to be active and give us their ideas on, what they would like to see. Jenny White Theater is one of those, and we've had a lot of participation from a lot of people in town and their board as well to give the ideas that, we want to make this pretty special. Fire department, we talked about first responders. Fire department, of course, one of the major first responders in any city or county government, state government. I think we ought to congratulate them for their participation in the Combat Challenge worldwide thing. You've got some information on that. Share it with us. We gave out certificates to the 5 firefighters that participated in the Combat Challenge in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, back in the fall, late summer, early fall. We've interviewed those gentlemen several times on the radio station. What an outstanding group of guys! I'm telling you, they made us very proud. This is the first year that the fire department has been involved in this. They started out in a state competition and won their division in that in Lexington or Louisville, I believe, and then went on to Myrtle Beach for the world championships and ended up in the top 40. In the world? In the world, and there was literally everyone in the world was there. Isn't that something? Different, so we're very proud of these guys, and after talking to them again on Monday, I mean, they're training as we speak for the next year, for this next year coming up. Is it safe to say, Jimmy, that they stay in a state of training the entire year for one thing or another? Yes. Totally prepared. They're prepared all the time. They have agility and physical standards they have to meet every year, as does the police department, to make sure that they're ready to go whenever needed. The football team, Pikeville High School Panthers, I think they deserve a pat on the back from the City Commission. I'm sure you guys have already gone through. You're thanking them for what they did this year. Oh, yeah. Sometimes, small things, and, although they didn't make it to the state championship game, but considering their numbers, being a region champion this year, great accomplishment for these guys, and what a group of guys. Talking to the coaches and the parents, great group of guys rather, that really got along well and projected that positive image for Pikeville that we really love to talk about. And they were only ousted by the eventual state champions. Yeah, hate to say it, but congratulations to the Hazard Bulldogs. Absolutely. But it's a good that if you're going to get beat, you get beat by the champions, and it was a little bit closer, I think, than what the state championship game was. So it makes us feel good about how they ended up and what the future holds. Let's talk a little about the City Commission and the makeup of the commission, including you, Barry Cheney, Dallas Lane, Gene Davis, and of course Mayor Frankie Justice. It seems like a group that is congenial, although I'm not in the work session, so I don't know that for sure. But is there a lot of give and take? Is it a responsible commission? Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people will look at it during the meetings, the people that come to meetings, and it looks like everybody's agreeing to everything real quick. So that's not really the case.
Oh, I'm sure it didn't.
You know, we agree to disagree a lot of times in the work sessions, like I said. But when we ready to move forward with something, it's either yay or nay, and then we move on. So yeah, it's what a good, great group that we have that can see the big picture, you know, or the light at the end of the tunnel, maybe, or whatever. And hopefully, it's not a train, but it's. It's good to work with this group. I'm telling you, we've gotten so much done and so much accomplished, and very proud to be a part of it.
Did the start of the entertainment portion of city business at the Expo Center, which got off to a little bit of a rocky start, or in my opinion it did that cause any strain on the Commission's deliberations for future entertainment?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's pretty much SMG's call. I mean, although, you know, we're there to help support them, you know, they have to look at different avenues to where they can make money and bring in acts and do different things. And you may see some different things coming up in the next month or year or 6 months. But as far as, you know, that was kind of their call, what they wanted to do. So,
however, is it not correct to say that the city of Pikeville was underwriting those efforts, so that if there was a shortfall on attendance or whatever, that would be up to the city of Pikeville to make up the difference?
It would, but something like that, I mean, that's pretty much pay as you come, you know, that type of thing. I can't imagine that there would be anything as far as if you're talking about the after hours dance club, if that's what you're referring to, or you're referring
the
to
attendance maybe on Big and Rich. I was wondering if that was not a shortfall.
Yeah, it was, and you know, and we're going to have those, and everything can't be a home run, as they say in the business. But when it all washes out, we should be in good shape, and really we're in a lot better shape than what we thought we would be this time last year.
And when you took over the Expo Center, is it now meeting the expectations of what the Commission was projecting when you took over? I guess you're in a landlord position more or less, though, aren't you?
Correct. And again, you know, SMG, you know, we are underwriting, you know, certain things, and we do, you know, have to take some risk at times, but we understood that going in. And but again, we're very happy with where we are today, and with SMG and how they have brought so many more people into the building, you know, filling the seats, you know, bringing people downtown, putting people in the restaurants. They're buying gas. You know, again, I think we discussed, you know, before in previous shows that majority of the people that are coming through that buy tickets through Ticketmaster don't live in Pike County. I think it was less than, you know, right around 5%.
And those demographics are important to you guys for scheduling purposes.
Oh yes, and depending on where these acts are coming from, that we have to, you know, get in line, and depending on how close they are. I mean, it's a big jigsaw puzzle for them to make this thing work, and we're very pleased with it.
It's not easy to say, oh, let's get Big and Rich and call them up and see if they can drop in and do something. It's much more complicated than that.
I wasn't aware of what it was either. And, you know, you'd have this wish list, I guess, of people you'd like to see come in here, but it really doesn't work that way. You're at the mercy
let's
of
see.
them.
It may have been Donovan made the comment that if you wanted Bruce Springsteen in, you needed to come up with $250,000 or something of that nature.
Right, and then hope that you can sell the tickets.
Right, and hope that you can fill it and a standing room outside. So it's not an easy business to be in. It looks
not
simple, but it's not simple.
It is not simple. And then just the sheer keeping the facility going and keeping staff people, and you know, it's a major undertaking.
Anything else you want to talk about, Jimmy? I've heard something about you being up for re-election this year.
There is that coming up.
You've been there 8 years, is that right?
Coming up on 8, yes, sir.
Isn't that something?
Goes by fast, but it's been a privilege to serve, and you know, hopefully the citizens appreciate what we do and what I do, and be able to move forward with some more projects.
In 8 years, have you seen any change in the city of Pikeville?
Wow, that's one of those. Where can you begin? It's moved at such a pace. You know, looking back on our comprehensive plan that we did a few years back, and
you said you were coming to the end of that. What was it, 5-year plan?
Yeah, and we've almost completed or have started most of these like 95% of the wish list that we came up with several years ago. We're getting close to completing that. And actually, I was talking to Donovan yesterday that we're getting ready to maybe start a new comprehensive plan. So
You guys.
be an opportunity for the citizens to come forward when we do start this process again and give us your wish list on what you'd like to see in the city.
Take public input.
Absolutely.
And you've done this in a sagging economy nationwide.
We're very fortunate, very blessed, to live in Pikeville, and we were about the only city east of Louisville or Lexington that showed an increase of population, and it's just amazing that we're showing the growth, and it has a lot to do with the expansion of the hospital, the expansion of the university. It's and everything else that's going on in the region, in the county. It's phenomenal growth.
Redistricting is going to come up in the Kentucky General Assembly. January 3rd, they'll reconvene based on the 2010 census. Will that impact Pikeville in any way?
It's hard to tell at this point. Those redistricting efforts, you never know where they're going to go. I mean, we don't foresee anything, but you never know what's going to happen once those guys start doing what they need to do. Is
there any funding pattern that's not threatened, maybe enhanced by redistricting?
I can't see anything right now. Coal severance is out there, which is, what everybody likes to go after that's in the coal producing counties. So I can't see a whole lot of change or difference in how that's going to be dished out.
We need to keep an eye on the governor's office and on the General Assembly.
Yes, and talk to your representatives and senators and let them know that what we need for the city, and when we ask for that coal severance money, hopefully they can get it for us.
Good luck.
Thank you, Homer.
I think you'll get it. We've been talking to anything else, Jimmy, before we go?
I think we're pretty good. I'd just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas
and
Happy New Year's. I'm not sure if we'll have another opportunity to do that, but again, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to serve, and hopefully we continue on.
Thank you. Jimmy Carter, City Commissioner for the City of Pikeville. This is Homer Owens for Pike TV.